Hey everybody, Tim here with tonight's episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 1, Episode 16, The Foresaken. Now, before I get too far into this, you may notice that it's a little bit widescreen now instead of portrait, or landscape, I guess. So I asked when I did the pilot episode for anybody who has experience with like film or anything like that to kind of just give me recommendations, because right now I just do this on my phone, and so I'm looking for like better camera or some sort of film editing program, stuff like that, just to make it a little bit better. Like I might get a screen or something, because I'm sure you guys don't want to see my artwork or my curtains or anything like that. So a few of you have reached out to me, not as many as I'd hoped, to be honest, but a couple of you. And like Eric was one of them who had mentioned that especially since I'm trying to get YouTubers to start subscribing and stuff like that, because it is something I'm trying to work on now. It's better to film in landscape than portrait, because for TVs and computers and stuff like that, and as well for those watching on their phones, it just kind of automatically fixes it. So this is just kind of an experiment for those watching on Facebook. Go ahead, let me know what you guys think, if this is any different or if you guys can't really tell. Thank you guys for everybody who has given me recommendations. I appreciate it. As for this episode, this is one of my favorite episodes. I love this episode. So I don't really remember a lot of Deep Space Nine. That's kind of part of the reason I'm re-binging it. But for what I do remember, and at the very least for season 1, this is one of my favorite episodes. And this is one where you can kind of tell that they're trying to make connections to the Next Generation, but not like overly strong. I mean, we saw Picard in the first episode. We saw the Duras sisters in the second episode, and then there was the Q and Vosh episode. And so this is kind of that fourth one where Lwaxana Troi has made her debut into Deep Space Nine. I think she's only in like 3 episodes. But, I mean, everybody who knows Lwaxana, when she comes in, like, she makes an appearance. And she's great in this one. The overall episode's pretty good. Now, this episode came out before her last appearance on The Next Generation, where we learned about her elder daughter, which that's important when she comes back into Deep Space Nine after that episode. So for this one, she's just the bubbly Lwaxana we all know. And it's kind of a random trivia. Throughout this episode, she wears a lot of different wigs. Like she starts out with a pink one, and then through most of the episode, she's wearing a blonde wig, which I thought was really interesting because she plays a blonde in the original series when she plays Nurse Chapel. So I liked that. So the most of this episode is just about some ambassadors have come to the ship. Like there's a Vulcan, there's a Balerian, there's Counselor Troi, there's Lwaxana Troi from Betazed, and then there's just some other random one that I don't even know what she is. And Lwaxana has her brooch that's stolen, and it's kind of interesting because Odo is like, well, you're a telepath, like, do you sense guilt from anybody? And she's like, no, but I can't read Ferengi. So she automatically blames Quark for it. Well, Quark says he didn't do it, and Odo actually believes him. Well, he picks out this other random alien, and Odo says that, oh, well, this species is a direct relative to Ferengi, so it would make sense that you can't read him either. And it's kind of interesting. So from here, stuff on the station starts breaking down, and it's kind of interesting to listen to Chief O'Brien talk about like how computers have a personality and how it's not listening to him because it's like a little pup and stuff like that. And it's kind of interesting. Odo and Lwaxana end up getting stuck in the turbo lift, and they're basically just in there for a long time. And it's kind of funny because before this, Lwaxana is just hitting on Odo just hardcore. And he's like, I'm not a human. Like, this isn't a mouth. This is an approximation of a mouth. Every 16 years, or every 16 hours, I have to turn into a liquid. And Lwaxana's like, I can swim. And it's funny. So anyway, so they're stuck in the turbo lift. And this is the most interesting part of Lwaxana. So like I said, this is before the episode about her daughter came out. Well, her and Odo are in this turbo lift, and they get to that 15th hour, and he's just slowly melting, and you can see him in agony that he's just having to hold his shape for this long. And he talks about how when he was younger and first found, the scientists that were like, quote unquote, raising him, basically grooming him, used to like use him as party tricks, like, oh, be the chair, oh, be the table, just stuff like that. And Lwaxana's like, when we get out of this, I'm going to have a party for you where other people will entertain you and you will not be the entertainment. And it's just this heartwarming moment. And finally, Odo's, like I said, he's just melting. And he's like, nobody's ever seen me like this. And she takes off her blonde wig, and she's like, well, nobody's ever seen me like this because I'm ordinary, and I don't want to be ordinary. And it's this heartbreaking moment. It is so touching, and it's so humanizing. Because like I said, Lwaxana is always this grand woman who was just out there. And now she's like slowly revealing, like she's ordinary, but she doesn't want to be. And Odo ends up finally like kind of melting and like sitting in her dress. And she tells him, she's like, don't worry, Odo, I will take care of you. And it's just a great scene. It's so well done. And it's the beginnings of their relationship that we see later on. I won't spoil it. I do know what happens. I won't spoil it. But overall, it's a great scene. And it's even leading up to it, it's kind of funny because she's just talking to Odo nonstop. And she's like, well, one time my daughter and I were stuck in a Ferengi cargo ship and blah. And it's like that. I feel like I just watched that episode not too long ago, which I didn't. So overall, I think this is a good episode. It's a great, and then the ending, to me, the ending doesn't even matter, where O'Brien figures out what the program was, or the life form, and like traps it in like this little cage, and everything's fine because he's going to take care of it like a pup. I don't care. Like, I realize it's kind of important for the episode, but for me, this whole episode was just Lwaxana and Odo and just their relationship, and I loved it. I thought it was so well done. I'm trying to convince fellow mod bro Joshua to watch this. He hasn't seen a lot of Deep Space Nine, and he and I love Lwaxana, so I feel like this is a great episode to watch. So for those who have seen this one, what did you guys think? Did you hate the fact that they brought Lwaxana into it? Like, oh, she's not needed, keep her in the next generation. Or did you love her? Did you embrace her? Go ahead, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about having the camera landscape over portrait. I'm probably going to do a couple episodes like this before I even get to your comments, because I film these way in advance. So thank you guys for everything. You guys are all amazing, and I can't wait to see you guys next time for Dramatis Personae.